If you don't want to end up as cooked as these eggs in the upcoming exams, listen to this knowledge bomb I'm about to drop. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is setting realistic expectations. Now, I'm going to tell you something that probably not a lot of people are going to tell you, okay? Come closer. Even closer. Stay closer. You're probably not going to get the highest grades. And I know that sounds disheartening, but the reason I'm saying this is because if you've procrastinated doing this work, you just admitted that you do because you are watching this video like every other person that's going to watch this video, and you're going to be like, yo, same. But the reality is you haven't studied up to this point, so it's going to be a really uphill battle. Now, that's not to say that you're not really going to get the highest of grades, but at least you have to set realistic expectations first. Maybe like a C, and aiming on the high end a B. But A and A star, maybe not now. Leave that for the kids that actually studied it up to this point. So, for example, you wouldn't expect to learn a difficult song after a few weeks ago, but you can set gradual steps in order to get to your goal. For example, you could start with the beginning, such as this, and continue from there. Now, what might end up happening is that you might end up surprising yourself with how much progress you can make, but at the very least, set yourself a realistic goal in the very beginning, using the grades that you've gotten so far in order to be able to achieve those goals. That's stage number one. Okay, the next step is to make sure to study 3 to 4 hours daily. And I did say daily, this means weekends as well. Now, you might need the mindset of, I need to study 12 hours a day in order to make sure that I covered up all the content. Well, yeah, that might work for like the first day or so when you have a lot of motivation, but then eventually you're going to find it overwhelming and quit. So that's not a really good long-term plan. Believe me, when I tell you, if you stick with it and if you do 3 to 4 hours daily consistently, you're more likely to see results. And you're probably also going to be a little bit more happier, which therefore is going to make you more likely to stick with what you started. Okay, so that's step number 3. Step number 3, this one is very much optional and it's very biased. It's essentially get yourself a tutor. Now, I am biased because I do physics and maths tutor. By the way, if you need tuition, it's in my bio. But the reason why I say this is because a tutor knows the specification in your course pretty much back to front. So he's the one that's going to be able to lead you through the steps. You right now that haven't studied pretty much anything, or I'm assuming you're in this position, you pretty much don't know anything about the course, or don't know how the structure is, or you don't know what is relevant, what isn't relevant, what's more important to focus on. A tutor knows that because he's been there. So if you have the means, definitely get yourself one, because you quite literally need to make progress in as much of a short time as possible. So get yourself a tutor. And I am very much speaking from experience, and the reason for it is because I remember the first time that I flopped my AS. One of the reasons why I just gave up on studying is because I found the content so overwhelming, I didn't know where to begin, so I just kind of called it quits. I feel like if there was someone to guide me through, maybe I would have had a better chance at learning something, but yeah, I was stubborn, so I suffered the consequences. The final advice I would give you to not be cooked in this exam season is do not use past papers as a way to learn content. That is a terrible way to learn what the course is all about. And the reason for it is because you only have so many past papers. Eventually you run out and you might still not feel as if you've learned something. Instead, do this. Every single subject has a document called the specification. And this specification essentially tells you everything that you need to learn in order to do well in the exam. Everything that is going to be on the exam is going to be here. So try to do as much reading as possible, and when worst comes to worst, you can even Google these things online in order to find out about them. A lot of the websites that post content essentially make their content based around these specifications. So make sure to simply Google what these are all about and go right away. Search them up, research, study. You'll be absolutely fine, and you're definitely going to create an improvement, but it all starts with you. Are you going to decide to work?